Right there.
And we're live here. So, hi, babe.
Hey, hi, how are you? How you been today? Good?
Pretty good. Yeah. How about you?
It's hot.
It is hot. We're coming to you today from Wyoming, Thermopolis. And it sounds, every time we say Thermopolis, I want to be like, Wonder Powers activate,
I
right?
know, right?
Because what was the Hall of Justice was in Metropolis?
Yeah.
So anyhow, it's just kind of been my little funny thing all week. But it's a very cool little town. Somebody told us we had to check it out, so we did. So it's home base.
We just picked the three hottest days they've had the entire
year.
We left the mountains to come down here, and I'm like, what were we thinking? It is.
Yeah, but the good news is, even though it's really the hottest temps that they've had so far this year, they have the festival of the year this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So we totally lucked into that. So we'll take that.
We'll stick around an extra day and enjoy it.
So before we wrap up our week and call it quits, let's talk about a couple highlights.
Oh my gosh, what a week.
So
what a week. There is so much going on right now in the real estate and mortgage industry. It's crazy. I mean, it is crazy.
Yeah, there is a lot going on. And we spent a lot of time with our team on Wednesday morning in our peak performance group coaching call talking about the NAR settlement and how it impacts the industry as a buyer's agent, as a listing agent, and then how it can impact the consumers.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I have been maybe oversimplifying what's going on, but I will say that that's our nature. We have gotten lemons served to us for 2.5 decades, right? And we just figure out how to make lemonade. That's just always been our way. We're like, oh, okay, well then this is just what we have to do to make that work. And ideally, the way we've always run our businesses isn't impacted by this change. The way that we've talked to our clients, the way that we've explained who pays for what and how commissions work, that just doesn't change for us. But that is more of an exception. A lot of people didn't have all those systems and processes in place. And so I maybe am oversimplifying how to navigate this. So why don't you speak to it a little bit?
Well, so I think that there's the consumer side and the real estate professional side.
Yeah.
So let's start with the consumer side, because I think consumers are aware, but they're not completely aware and how it all works. And so just the highlighted version of it, there was a huge settlement between the National Association of Realtors and a group of attorneys who got involved, and it was hundreds of millions of dollars in suit.
Yeah.
And they said that for eons the consumer had been misled and all of these things. And the truth of the matter is, the settlement, all it did was make it more complicated for the buyers, the sellers, and the agents. It didn't solve anything. If anything, it really made it as a disservice potentially to buyers.
It makes it more complicated. That's what happened to me on the mortgage side back in 2010.
Mm-hmm.
They changed our forms in order to better disclose to the public, and it's just more confusing.
Yeah.
So, maybe they could have just said, hey, let's practice how we communicate to the public, right? Let's give some scripts, or let's just have more education. But instead, it seems like legislation comes in, changes things.
Well, it wasn't even legislation. It was just a big money grab from the attorneys is really what it was.
But it is ending up making it more confusing for everybody.
And so there's so much misinformation going around right now in the industry. So if you're a consumer and you're getting ready to put your house on the market as a seller, you still have the ability to offer compensation to somebody who brings you a buyer. It's super important that you know that. You've always had the ability to say, I want to limit what it is or choose what it is. That doesn't change. What changes is how the other party learns about it. So used to, for 27 years that I've been doing real estate, every time you went and showed a house, it said the seller is offering X in commission for bringing the buyer to the property. That can still happen. It's just not put inside of the MLS. Right. And so it's really like, it's business as usual, with the exception of you have to call the agent and say, hey, is your seller offering a compensation?
It's adding more steps. Like in this world that's automated and systematized, it's taking some automation out of the process.
And listen, I want to be very clear. We're not attorneys. This is,
Right.
Obviously we're Jason and Linda Shinpaw. We're real estate agents and mortgage professional.
Right.
So this is not meant in any way, shape, or form to be offering you legal advice on what to do and not to do, but it's really meant to just calm everyone down.
Well, and simplify the message. So that's what's going on. So really, because not everybody listening to this wants the full dissertation.
Right.
So really, it's going to be up to listing agents and buyers agents to understand how this works and do their job well, right? And communicate. And so and not go, that's not my side of the deal, I don't really care about it. So in order to make this smooth for the consumer, buyers agents, listing agents, like a realtor, right, needs to really understand how this works, do their part, and because there probably is going to be an extra phone call, an extra email, an extra step. And so the more efficient we get at that, the smoother it'll be for the consumer.
But as a consumer, you should still do it exactly the way that it's been done. It will just be disclosed differently.
Right.
And they've already said that's perfectly legal. So it really just comes down to not putting it in an MLS is in its most basic form.
And you know what, like, it really stinks because you could be in healthcare, you could be an engineer, you could be a teacher, right? We all know what it's like when the regulators, the powers that be, our boss, the owner of the company, right, when they make a change. And they're not really walking in your shoes while considering or making that change. And so that's what happens. That's what's happening here. It's like, come show property for 30 days. Come go on some listing appointments for 30 days. Come work with clients for 30 days and see if this is really serving them. But regardless, it's a change.
It's happening.
It's happening. It's been the topic of conversation in our world for months. But at the end of the day, it really can be business as usual. The real estate world isn't falling apart. It's just going to be a little different. There's just going to be a different part of the process, right? So,
and I would encourage you to be careful who you're listening to because there's just so much out there.
Misinformation.
And I don't know that it's misinformation. I think some of it's fear mongering. I think some of it is true. They don't know, and look, we don't know everything, but what we do know is if you're a buyer or a seller or a real estate agent, you can still do business the same way you should have been doing it all along. So as it pertains to the real estate side of the business, really you just have to sit down with your clients and explain to them, this is how I work and this is how I get paid. This should have already been happening. This should have already been how you've been doing business. Unfortunately, in our industry, the sellers got treated one way and the buyers got treated another way from the standpoint of a consultation and how you work together and how you do things like that.
Right. So because a lot of times with the buyers, it was like, oh, you don't have to worry about the sellers take care of my commission. And then then that was the end of the conversation instead of, this is what will be offered and this is how I'll get paid. So,
exactly.
And we did do that, but you're right. A lot of people just no reason to stir anything up, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think if you're a real estate agent and you're listening to this, it's going to be fine. We will get through this. There will be some bumpy roads. There will be what's going on there?
Yeah. There you go.
Oh, it's back. Okay.
Right, cool.
So anyway, so I think it's just we're here to bring encouragement and just understanding that there will be change, but don't be stuck. Raise your hand. Let us help you. We have lots of stuff that we're proactively doing and how to handle this, and we're working on some.
You're role playing it every week,
yeah.
Right? We're answering questions. We have a Tuesday morning call that's free to all agents of any brokerage, and we'll answer this question as many times as we have to. We'll role play it. We'll, whatever it is that you're concerned about, we will talk about that. So that's a free call that we do every week. It's a live Q&A, and we just help you with what you're going through real time. And then we do have some coaching calls for our organization or things that people can pay to be a part of, and we go even deeper. We go really deep. And so there's just no reason to not be equipped, because one way or the other, you can access us and we'll walk you through, whatever it is that has you concerned.
And Linda's working on some really cool stuff for the mortgage side to help from the mortgage angle, because there's going to be there will have to be some changes.
Yeah.
And we can't say that just yet, but we're working on like an FAQ sheet to help you navigate how that can benefit you.
Yeah, we're really starting to get some good questions about from seasoned agents who understand how this could impact some of the seller concessions and contributions towards buyer closing costs, things like that. So again, not getting super technical, but
that'll be a topic we can cover.
We'll
next
come
week
back.
Too.
Yeah.
I think it'll be great.
But listen, before we go, because hello, it's Friday, we need to go. But before we do, there has been some great news on the mortgage side. So the Fed met this week, and they continue to state that we're going to see a decrease in the Fed fund rate this year, if not multiple, right? But that's awesome, and our interest rates have responded favorably to that. And it's really interesting because I was listening, I listen to stuff every day because it's like the wild, wild west, right, with rates right now. But really, interest rates, if they do what we think they're going to do, they're going to settle back into a normal position, historically speaking.
Mm-hmm.
And that's very exciting for all of us.
Yeah.
And so with the expectation of rates to come down a little bit right now in a lot of markets, we are getting seller concessions, which means the sellers are giving some money towards the buyer's closing costs and prepaid items at closing. And so, you have a sales price, and then you have a few $1,000s maybe given to you, which lowers the cash out of pocket for buyers. There's just a lot of really good things happening right now on the mortgage side. And so I'm a hope that people will not be afraid to buy or move, even refinance, right? We've just, our short-term memory leads us to believe that we're in this horrible market. But if we look historically speaking, we're actually okay. And I think we're headed in a good direction.
Well, and if you're listening to this and you've bought your house in the last year and your interest rates are a little higher, reach out to Linda. She has a really cool program that she can manage and monitor the rates and let you know, like, hey, this number is here. This is a great time to be looking at that. So get ahead of it. Don't be waiting, because it could just be one day. The rates could fall just one day enough to save you $200 or $300 in your payment.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you have a really great program that you use. I know you've used it for years. To watch that, and she'll do a full breakdown for you of this is how long it would take you to recoup if you were to refinance, and it will make sense. And it could be tomorrow, and it could be in a month, but don't you try to figure it out. Let Linda and her technology take care of that for you.
You did read my email this week.
Of course I did.
So listen, guys, if you aren't getting a weekly email from us, just either message us, you can put it in the comments below, that's fine, but reach out to us and we'll stick you on that, because that was actually what I emailed my my client database and past clients and all of that. That's what I emailed them about this week was, if there's a magic number you're looking for as far as an interest rate, let me know, because I will put you on the watch list, and then you can be confident that you're going to get notified, and we can then have conversation that makes sense at that time. So, and
just so you guys know, like, the volatility of this right now, it literally could just be for one day. It could be in one afternoon. I mean, it could make sense and then not make sense. I mean, like, this is crazy. This is just a crazy volatile season and everything. Election years are historically volatile. We have inflation that's volatile. We have stuff going on. Like, it's just a crazy time. But that doesn't mean you can't take advantage of it and save a few bucks in your monthly mortgage payments.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
Yeah,
it's going to happen. So, well, guys, I hope you have an amazing weekend, and we're going to do our best to do the same, right?
We will. Everybody have a great evening and a great weekend. Thanks for hanging out with us for a little bit.
All right, bye.